Nothing can go wrong in an EV. Until it does. How to buy a second-hand EV? Let's find out. I visited my friend Paweł Olszowiec, the owner of Motorreporter.com, a car vetting business. Full disclosure, Paweł supplies the cars for the shoot and shares his knowledge, but there is no financial reward in it for me, except, of course, when you watch this video, hit like, subscribe, share, etc., for which, as always, I'm eternally grateful. If you want to see our full chat, visit the Polish channel, turn on subtitles and translate them into the language of your choice. The translation is probably not perfect, as it often is the case with AI, but you will get the general gist. Now, today's topic is used EVs. Are they as straightforward as we are led to believe when we hear about how they are basically maintenance-free? Yes and no. The car we are looking at today, as an example, is a 2015 Nissan Leaf. It's a cheap and popular option when you're in a need of short-distance runabout and you don't want to pay extra for something fancier like a BMW i3. These seem to hold their value much better than some suggested when they came out. Anyway, the Leaf is simple and rugged, the interior is pretty solid, and cosmetic issues shouldn't be a reason for concern. However, an EV is only as good as its battery, and there is more to the battery than just degradation. The market, at least here in Poland, but that probably also applies to other parts of Central and Eastern Europe, is divided between the newer ex-fleet cars and imports from the US. The former may have higher mileage and the battery may have been carelessly maintained through many fast charging cycles, and the latter may have a history flooded with problems. Pun intended. But even if the cars haven't been exposed to water, some may have been in accidents in which the battery pack may have been compromised. Now, some examples may have spent time in wholesale car lots with batteries discharged. Some more time passed before they got to their destination, were fixed, and then all of a sudden they were rapidly charged, and this is where fires may break out. So, when looking at a second-hand EV, we should pay close attention to the condition of the battery. Now, depending on if and how the car was hit, even if the battery pack looks fine from the outside, there may have been some damage among the cells inside. And while reconditioning EV batteries is a booming business, it adds to the cost of what was supposed to be a cheap city runabout. Therefore, any accidents have to be looked at, firstly, from the mechanical and safety point of view, and secondly, from the point of view of the battery condition. The latter can be verified with computer diagnostics. The electric motor as such should be fine. The battery, assuming it wasn't damaged in an accident, may only show some degradation. Now, this level of degradation will depend on the weakest cell, which can sometimes be replaced. However, sometimes access to the cells, and therefore replacement options, are limited. As far as degradation is concerned, car makers usually offer 7 to 8 years warranty for the battery, limited to about 150 or 160,000 kilometers. However, this also takes into account degradation, so car makers assume the battery should maintain at least 70% of the original capacity. In some older Hyundai and Kia models, this was 60%, so be aware when looking at something like an old Kia e-Soul or Kia e-Niro. Having said that, EV owners see the highest degradation in the first year or two, and then it kind of slows down, depending, of course, on how the battery is being cared for. Which takes us to other factors to look at, which include how the car was used and in what conditions. Frequent fast charging and overheating of the battery is bad for longevity. Now, while this may not have caused a drop below 70% of the original battery capacity, looking at two cars with similar mileage, you will prefer the one which was charged slower more often than rapidly, because they will just have better battery characteristics. Now, in an internal combustion engine car, a brief test drive is usually enough to find any basic problems with the drivetrain. However, in case of EVs, it's more complicated. When arranging a test drive, it is wise to ask that the car be fully charged. The test drive should be longer than standard several kilometers. You should turn on everything that will draw energy and see how it impacts the range. If you see the car suddenly loses a lot of range, it's a bad sign, and that's before we get to computer diagnostics. In case of the Nissan Leaf, there is a popular Leaf Spy app which gives a lot of insights in the car history. Most EVs have some sort of self-diagnostics. In case of Nissan, there is a button sequence to launch self-diagnostics. You need to put the car in accessory mode, press the map button 3 times, radio power mode twice, and then the map again, and this seems to work in older models as well as the ones with newer infotainment. This particular example doesn't seem to have any errors, which finds reflection in more advanced computer diagnostics, which Paweł carried out with his fancy computer. The important bit of information is that the voltage is equal and stable across all cells, and that's good news. There are no bad sectors as well. Now, due to how the EV market developed, there doesn't seem to be a middle ground. On the one hand, there are relatively cheap 7 to 10-year-old EVs, which pretty much take us to the beginning of mass production in this segment. On the other hand, there are a lot of relatively expensive, newer cars, which may not have been as attractive without some government incentives, which the original buyers probably claimed.
You don't have to spend tens of thousands of euros to find out if EVs are right for you. You just have to be smart when looking for a pre-owned electric car. Are you thinking of buying an EV? Is it going to be a new one with government incentives or a cheaper used one? Let me know in the comment section below. Also, let me know if there are any second-hand car topics you'd like me to cover. Maybe it's going to be the subject of one of the future episodes.
If you like my sarcastic, down-to-earth and possibly mildly amusing car reviews, join me every Friday at 3 p.m. Central European Time, and don't forget to subscribe and like this video as it helps me with the YouTube algorithm. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.